sometimes you have this tendency to imagine that the landscape looks like what it would look like if you were on the right track. Yeah. And so you cross this like pathetic little thing that might have been a creek or could be an animal path.
No, this must be the Colorado River.
Yeah, this must be some river.
Gee, isn't it interesting? The sun sets in the east here in New Mexico. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to really like not kid yourself, because you're the one paying the price for that. And it's so easy to do because you keep expecting the land to match your expectations. And so there's a real tendency to ignore really incontrovertible evidence.
It was frustrating just because I want to be out here hiking, and I feel like all I'm doing is orienteering too much of the time.
Dan was a photographer on our trip, and he probably took a couple hundred pictures of me, and in every single one of them the compass is around my neck and a map is in my hand. And I would check the maps every 5 to 10 minutes.
On this trail, I was amazed that 2 to 4 hours a day on many days is devoted to planning your day, coming to a section where there's no trail, no markings, just forest, spending the time to really try and pinpoint where you are, which is difficult when you're looking through the trees and you can't see the mountain features around you and the clouds are out. So you're relying on your compass and your recollection of where you've come from.
It's tiring, it's taxing. Well, like we always get to saying these things, this stuff's not fun. It's challenging, it's rewarding, but it's certainly not fun, and this is a very good example of that.
I spent at least an hour every night in camp going over the next day's route. I did most of the navigational work with the people I traveled with.
When you're traveling in a group, there's sort of a momentum. There's like a pressure to keep going, and I was the one, with the map, so I really felt so intensely the pressure of not saying I think there's something wrong, because every time I said I think there's something wrong, I would stop the group, and if I was right half the time, that meant that half the time I had stopped the group unnecessarily. And it's just really important to be willing to stop it, because otherwise you are going to be walking miles in the wrong direction.
And some people, frankly, are more gifted at this than others. For instance, Jennifer, my partner, could look at a map and the landscape popped out of the map for her after a while being out there. For me, it was a constant kind of struggle with, okay, this is an uphill on the map, this is a downhill, this is a V, so I know it's pointing downhill, the water's running this way, okay, that's over there. So different folks are going to have a different experience with it, but nothing will build that skill for you other than finding a place to carry the map that's comfortable, that it's easily accessible. We had an outside pouch near our hip belts where we could pull that map out, be looking at the map every 5 minutes if you need to be checking where you are with what you're seeing on the map and making sure that those two things coordinate.
You really do need a partner out there.
We found that our decision making was so much better when we would stop and put all of our heads together. It was 1 + 1 + 1 was much more than 3.